Adanna user was Lagos royalty, not by blood, but by status. Born and raised in the bustling mainland by her single mother, Mama Oju, she was taught from the crib that nothing in this world was free. Her mother, a retired gold digger turned madam, raised her daughter with only one rule: men are providers, and emotions are a luxury. Love was for fools. So, Adanna never loved. She dated the richest, the most powerful. From oil tycoons to politicians, no man got close without dropping millions. Her lifestyle was enviable: mansion in Banana Island, luxury trips, designer handbags flown in weekly, and a fleet of cars. She was an Instagram goddess, a lifestyle influencer with millions of followers who envied her every move. But it all crumbled in a week. Adanna was in a luxurious spa in Banana Island, mid-massage, when her phone exploded with notifications. A gossip blog had dropped screenshots and videos of her with Chief Alade, a 56-year-old married politician. Moments later, another woman, a popular socialite, leaked DMs and receipts of Adanna involved with her husband, a superstar soccer player named Toby, who played for Lagos Kings FC. Two married men, both wealthy, both humiliated, both ruthless when angry. The politician, Chief Alade, dumped her over the phone, his voice filled with venom. "You think you can embarrass me like this? You'll regret this, Adanna." The soccer star, Toby, was no kinder. He sent a short text: "Lose my number. Don't ever contact me again." She had to check into a hotel since her mansion was seized, technically in Chief Alade's name. She lost everything except a Range Rover she got as a 21st gift from a politician she once dated. Brand sponsorships pulled out. Her influencer deals dried up. Even her black cards and accounts were frozen. Her social circle vanished overnight. The once envied influencer had become a pariah. She spiraled into depression, spending days indoors, avoiding the internet, and nursing her wounded pride. Without her financial lifelines, Adanna was forced to downgrade her lifestyle. She managed to get an apartment in a somewhat middle-income neighborhood. Gone were the fleet of luxury cars and reckless spending on designer clothes. Adanna faced reality for the first time. Her savings were slowly drying up as her bills were piling up, and she had to survive. The paparazzi eventually faded, but whispers followed her everywhere. Women gave her side eyes. Men saw her as an easy mark. In that despair, she reached out to Toke, an old friend, now wife to another Lagos Kings player, Kunnel. They had grown up together, once thick as thieves, until Adanna blew up and cut off everyone who didn't fit into her luxury world. Toke was wary at first. "Now you remember me?" she asked, hands folded. Adanna cried, "I'm not the same girl. I was stupid, Toke. I chased the wrong things and now I have nothing." Toke eventually embraced her. "You have me." They talked all night about men, mistakes, money, and life. Over bowls of pepper soup and bottles of wine, Adanna confessed everything. How she thought she could hustle forever. How Mama Oju molded her to survive but never to feel. Toke slowly brought Adanna back into the social circle. But it wasn't the same. The wives and girlfriends of the Lagos Kings soccer players looked down on her. At a Lagos Kings charity gala, one even hissed loudly, "Side chicks shouldn't sit with wives." Adanna swallowed her pride. She stayed quiet. She smiled. She endured. Then she met Ao. Ao was a defender for the Lagos Kings. Handsome, rugged, direct. He didn't flirt or fawn. In fact, their first interaction was blunt. They met at a charity game for orphan children. Toke had invited Adanna to. She reluctantly agreed to go. Unlike the other men who ogled her with lust, Ao barely acknowledged her. Later, when they were alone, he spoke bluntly. "Why are you here, Adanna? You looking for your next target?" His words stung, but they also woke something in her. "I'm trying to change." Ao scoffed. "You can't change if you keep running in the same circles." That night, Adanna couldn't stop thinking about his words. He didn't treat her like trash, nor did he fawn over her. He was just real. Over time, through group outings and hangouts with Toke and Kunnel, she and Ao began to interact more. She noticed how kind he was to waiters, how he volunteered at youth camps, and how he didn't try to impress. One night, after a game, Ao gave her a ride home. They sat in his car talking for hours about faith, regrets, and dreams. She told him about her mother. She taught me how to survive, not to live, Adanna said, staring out the window. She saw men as wallets, not people. Ao didn't judge. Do you still see them that way? No, she whispered. You changed that. But their peace was short-lived. One day during the soccer club's family day, Toby, the ex, showed up and spotted Ao and Adanna on the field, laughing together. In a jealous fit, he confronted Ao. Are you messing with my leftovers now? Ao clenched his jaw. She's not yours. Toby turned to Adanna. How many of us on the team are you planning to use? She slapped him. I'm not that girl anymore. The tension rocked the field, but Ao stood by her that she never had a man stand up for before. If she didn't have feeling for him already, now she did. Later that week, Mama Oju came by her apartment unannounced. Dressed in a flashy wrapper and wig, she barged in and said, So you're broke and dumb now? Adanna sighed. I'm trying to change, Mama. Her mother scoffed. Change? For what? Love. Love won't pay rent. They argued, screamed, accused. Years of resentment exploded. I wanted more than the life you gave me. Adanna shouted. And I gave you survival. Mama Oju snapped. You were a queen. You gave it up for what? God. A broke footballer. Adanna realized that she and her mother no longer shared the same views. She wanted better. She wanted to be better. She didn't care about Ao's money. She knew he had money. He just lived a humble life. However, he did drive that sleek G-Wagon. They didn't speak for weeks after that. Determined to carve out a new life, Adanna took up an offer from a Lagos-based modeling agency. At first, she hesitated. She had built her career on being an influencer, not a traditional model. But she needed a fresh start, and this was her chance. She started small, catalog shoots, fashion campaigns. It wasn't the extravagant life she once had, but it was hers. And slowly, she began to feel whole again. She no longer depended on a man to take care of her. For the first time ever, she felt empowered and truly happy. Toke invited her to a group vacation with other players and their wives. It was meant to be fun. In Seychelles, on a yacht, sipping champagne and enjoying the sun. But drama found them. First, Toby and his wife showed up uninvited, making things tense. Then, one wife, Bisola, accused Adanna of flirting with her husband. I saw you touching his arm. I was handing him sunscreen. Adanna yelled, exasperated. Toke backed her up. She's not here for your husbands. Later that day, a picture was leaked. Adanna and Ao sitting close, sharing a laugh. It wasn't romantic, but cozy enough for blogs to spin headlines. Adanna strikes again. Social media exploded. Ao was dragged. Adanna was called names. The atmosphere turned icy. It was obvious one of the wives did it. Ao's girlfriend flew in, furious. She immediately confronted Adanna. Stay away from my man, Adanna. The vacation turned into a war zone, and Adanna felt unwelcomed, so she withdrew from the group. She went on to meet a wealthy businessman who showered her with gifts, tempting her back into her old ways. But when Ao saw her with him, disappointment flashed in his eyes. So this is who you really are, he said. After their conversation, realization hit her. She had used that rich man to distract herself from Ao. Her feeling for him were too deep, and she was afraid to tell him. It had been 2 months since the vacation. Adanna hadn't seen or talked to Ao. She thought it would be better for her to avoid him, but lately he has been all she can think about. She could no longer take it anymore, so she drove to Ao's house. Ao was surprised yet happy to see Adanna. He would never admit this, but he missed her. Adanna couldn't remember the last time she was this nervous, but she was determined to confess her feeling to Ao. She did it. She confessed her feelings to him, but Ao rejected her. I can't do this, Adanna. Not after everything. Plus, I have a girlfriend, her heart shattered. She felt judged. The one person she ever truly loved had rejected her. This felt worse than losing everything. Just when she thought things couldn't get any worse, Chief Okon, the politician, refused to let her go. He threatened to ruin her further unless she took him back. He planned to blackball her unless she came back to him. Desperate, Adanna turned to the last person she expected, his wife, Madame Joyce. The politician's wife listened carefully, then shocked Adanna by saying, Let's expose him together. I am tired of all his infidelities and constant humiliation. And so they did. The scandal broke, but this time, Adanna wasn't the villain, she was the survivor. With her past finally behind her, Adanna focused on work. Her followers were picking up, and she got opportunities to collaborate with brands. Still, she missed Ao. On his birthday, she simply wrote, "Happy birthday." Nothing more. She couldn't even go to his birthday party. The thought of seeing Ao with his girlfriend hurt too much for her. Ao was furious, how could she? Didn't their friendship mean something to her? The next day, he went to her apartment. "Why weren't you at my party?" "Because I love you too much to watch you with someone else." The truth hit him hard. It was time for him to face his feelings and be honest with himself. Days later, he made up his mind and confronted his girlfriend, finally admitting what he had been avoiding. "I don't love you." Obviously, his now ex-girlfriend was devastated, but he was overwhelmed yet excited about what the future looked like for him and maybe Adanna. Tokay invited Adanna to Abuja for a getaway, but it was a setup. When she arrived, Ao was waiting. He was waiting for her at a rooftop full of romantic setup. "I love you, Adanna. Not your past. Not your mistakes. Just you." Tears streamed down her face. "Are you sure?" He smiled. "Never been more sure." Adanna returned to Lagos not as a gold digger, but as a woman transformed. Her brand was reborn this time for authenticity and resilience. She and Ao dated publicly, unashamed. They built a life together, not one of luxury but of love. They married a few years later in beautiful ceremony, surrounded by the people they loved. She became a respected model and mentor for young girls, proving that redemption was real. She was no longer the girl who sold herself for wealth. She was Adanna, strong, independent, and finally, truly loved. And Mama Oju, she visited again. Quiet, soft, maybe even proud. "You did good, baby girl," she whispered. Adanna smiled. "Gold's not my worth anymore. I found something richer,